So Andrew, I hear you're selling Pugly.
I hear you're selling the Jimbo.
Yep.
So let me ask, why did you sell the JIMNY, Mike?
Well, it was kind of a love-hate relationship. I loved the JIMNY, but I also hated it at some points. And the position came up, or this opportunity came up, where I got a really nice built-up car, which is a Ford Ranger. I kind of just went for it.
Because kind of your purpose for the vehicle is, well, both of our purposes of vehicles are more long-distance touring, less play, four-wheel drive.
I think when we started out, like back in the days, we went like you went with your City Golf to the dunes, and I went with my Nissan 1400 Bucky. And then the obvious upgrade to that was to get four-wheel drive cars, which was your Samurai, and for me it was the JIMNY. That just made sense to get those cars because we wanted four-wheel drive and wanted to play around. Exactly. And then we realized, okay, but we actually want to go further than just 50 kilometers from home.
Yeah, you kind of want to do more camping trips, haul luggage with you, and on the trips as well. Like you mentioned now that we both started with the Suzukis in the four-wheel drive scene. Obviously our families have both have done touring and through Southern Africa. What we kind of picked up is, to start out with, I reckon the Suzuki is probably one of the best platforms. In terms of, you're very hands-on, it's a small vehicle, easy to work on, it's reliable, it's relatively cheap, I would say. It depends.
In terms of maintenance and reliability, it's very cheap compared to what I hear the other guys are.
Yeah.
Like they're spending more time on fixing stuff and it's way pricier.
Yeah. When I got the Samurai, and obviously that was more a weekend warrior project of mine, which yours is more kind of a daily drive as well as a touring vehicle. My Samurai wasn't. It was an insane capable toy 4x4 vehicle. Even though they're both Suzukis, yours is much more reliable and modern and refined.
I guess what you can say is mine is perfect for a daily drive, but it's also perfect for a weekend car that you can go to a camping trip.
It is actually. And I guess that's part of the progression as you get older and your needs change on the four-wheel drives as well. You kind of get less time to spend weekends playing and working on the cars, and more towards you actually want to just turnkey vehicles set up and just don't have to worry about anything, just go long distance touring. So right, the advantages of each of these vehicles. Mike, let's start with the JIMNY. List your advantages which you've already noticed with that car compared to the Ranger.
Like the biggest one is the fun factor. Like you can't get a different car that's that fun to drive. Then obviously it's very reliable and economical. It's a nice daily drive that you can drive to work and also use in the weekends.
I guess also another thing is about the parts are quite cheap on them as well. If you compare to other vehicles where today's standards, you can't take a vehicle or you can't fix a vehicle without scanning it and clearing faults and all that jazz to actually get the thing running again.
There's so little electronics, which is kind of sad point, but it's also a very plus point when you're going off-road, because nothing's going to make you go into limp mode and can't be able to get back home.
It's obviously more sophisticated than a Samurai, which is a carbed engine, but that's also not fuel efficient and it stalls on angles and stuff. So I reckon for today's standards, it's still a pretty good vehicle to go by. In terms of Pugly's main advantage for me, or the Defender 130, is basically I got it because I needed space, which you've probably that's why we built the trailer for you.
Yeah.
But also that's had its issues with weight and also speed and highway driving. And
yeah, it's like when you go up a hill, you get to 80, 70, 60 kilometers an hour on the highway. That's really not... But I mean, it allows you, if you keep your package weight low, then it's perfect.
In terms of advantages for a JIMNY versus Defender off-road capability, there is a reason why I usually send Mike into an obstacle first, because it's a lot easier to recover that JIMNY if it gets stuck than it is to recover my car with yours.
Yeah.
And I think that's one major thing that people kind of miss the point of. Like, obviously this vehicle is quite capable, it's big, it's powerful, it's got big tires, whatever, but when you get stuck properly. And we've had that almost happen right now.
Yeah. And then you have 1 ton that you need to recover of the JIMNY, or 3 tons that you need to recover of the Defender.
Especially loaded up on a trip or whatever.
Yeah.
That Namakwa trip was actually quite... We didn't do a lot of four-wheel driving in terms of seeking for challenges, and I think that was kind of the main part. The main point was just to travel safely and without having to get stuck anyway. And that was also kind of my thing, why I couldn't really go into too many obstacles, because
there was one route that we actually said we're not going to do because we're kind of scared it's too technical.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't take the risk.
And the vehicle's quite heavy, so when I lost that brake pad and I had to fit a retrofitted old one, it was kind of dodgy.
Another big plus point is actually these two cars together really complement each other, because in the Richtersveld trip you could carry all my fuel for me.
And then especially for this vehicle, it's like a fun beach kind of
vibe. Yeah, because we parked in the one spot and then we wanted to scout for camping spots. Yeah. And we took the JIMNY to just go drive around and see if we can find a nicer spot.
That's another thing, main thing. Advantage on the JIMNY is the turning circle on that is probably half of the Defenders, as we previously saw now. Yeah. The same obstacle, I had to go reverse and then try and tackle the obstacle again. Yeah. Which kind of, it's at first it doesn't feel like a big thing, but as soon as you get into like very tight corners and there's not much room to move in, it gets kind of a big deal.
And that's where the JIMNY's fun factor comes out, because you can just point it in a direction and go for it and play around, where with other longer base vehicles or longer vehicles you have to negotiate corners and it takes the fun away.
Wheelbase again, advantage of the short wheelbase, it's usually easy to get over obstacles. It doesn't get hung up as easily. No. But also a big disadvantage with short wheelbase vehicles is as soon as you start climbing very steep climbs and it's very grippy, those front wheels start picking up and the chance of you flipping that thing back over, it's quite big. So that's where kind of the long wheelbase is quite nice. And dirt road driving as well, you've probably noticed.
I'm actually very comfortable with dirt roads in the JIMNY.
No twitchiness at all?
No.
You've got a good setup there, mate. Because the nice thing about, I noticed on the 130 compared to the Cruiser as well, this thing, if it starts drifting, which it is rear wheel drive normally, it's been converted obviously. As soon as it starts drifting, you've got loads of time to correct it. It literally, you just leave the steering wheel, kind of just goes into slow drift like a school bus. The Defender versus a JIMNY thing. Obviously, this is a quite highly modified Defender, and even a stock standard one. I think in general, I would go towards the JIMNY for reliability purposes. If you want a vehicle running cost-wise, definitely the JIMNY. Yeah. Except now it's obviously a newer vehicle, so you've got less maintenance and repairs on it than you would with an old Land Rover. And I think the latest Land Rover you can now buy is a 2015 model. It's the last year they were made. And if you can maybe pick one up for, I think they go for 500k now, which is quite ridiculous.
Yeah, you can buy 3 of these.
Pretty much, and even the new JIMNY is almost 400, which is quite a bit. Yeah. And I reckon that's also quite a big point on the Gen 3 JIMNY, why it's such a good value for money package at all.
It is, especially now where you can pick ones up, and there's quite a few on the market that you can get, which is really in a nice price point, and it's been modified already. So you've got a car that you don't need to build up from scratch, and it's capable as you buy it.
And also if you look at the aftermarket accessories, like we've started with a zombie thing a few years ago, and on the market at the moment, you've got probably, from a modification, you could probably pick 3 or 4 suppliers of the same thing now.
Yeah.
Which is quite nice, because back then we started because there weren't really many people offering kits and stuff for the Jimnys, and now it's great, because the old Samurai modification, that enthusiast kind of moved now to the Jimny, and now eventually the Gen 4 as well.
Yeah.
So in that terms, I reckon if you want value for money, capability, I'm going to go towards the Jimny, honestly. If you want something that can maybe carry load, I use it mostly to haul stuff between home and places.
Yeah.
So for me, it's kind of an all-rounder. It's a tourer, a weekend warrior.
Yeah.
It's a work bucky. And the best thing is, it's got coil suspension front and back, which how many buckies can you get with that?
That nice soft ride just doesn't compare.
Soft ride, right? But yeah, and it's solid axles. Both are solid axles, obviously, which I'm kind of a sucker for. And now you've gone over.
Yep.
Also, another reason why I reckon we still had these cars for such a long time is that character feel of it. As soon as you get into the vehicle, you kind of feel you're going on an adventure.
Exactly. Like even in lockdown, you can just go sit in your car and like, yes.
I did a video call actually in my car to chat with other guys. Overall, I don't think there's no clear winner here.
No, there isn't.
At the end, kind of what you need.
Like we can't say the Jimny is the best car, the Fender, or even the Ranger is the best car. It really depends on what you want to do with the car and what makes you like tick.
Yeah, if it fits in your budget, it's get you out there, and if you enjoy it, go for it. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of four-wheel driving. It's a fun hobby, so get out there, enjoy it. Don't give a crap about everyone thinks about your rig and how you built it up. I've learned that as well.
Yep. It's
Especially,
your car, it's your setup.
Exactly, it's your vehicle. At the end of the day, you're taking that thing home, you're working on it. As long as you enjoy it, use it. So yeah, thank you for watching this very informative episode of having no opinion on which is the best four-wheel drive at all.
Yep.
Until next time, thank you guys. Cheers.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. You can also hit the bell icon for future notifications of videos to be released. We enjoy reading your comments as well, so let us know down below which vehicle you prefer between these two, and if you think we made the right choice of selling these for our next projects. Cheers, check you guys next time.
Hell yeah, brother.